Abortion is a very controversial subject. Many people base their personal opinions off of religious beliefs or what they've been told by people they know or the media. Oftentimes, people will follow the masses because they think what is more popular is the right choice. After researching the topic on my own, I believe in being pro-life, and you should too. Being pro-life and pro-choice are two different things. Pro-choice is the belief that women should have the right to choose abortion if they please. However, pro-life believes that abortion should be illegal on the grounds that it is taking a human life. Pro-life advocates the legal protection of human embryos and fetuses. Pro-choice activists argue that pregnancy doesn't begin until the embryo implants itself in the lining of the uterine wall, which occurs about a week after conception. However, at conception, when the male sperm penetrates the female egg, a zygote is formed. The Family Research Council tells us that a zygote is composed of human DNA that includes a complete design, which guides early development, as well as hereditary attributes that affect childhood and adulthood, such as hair and eye color, and personality traits. The 4 criteria needed to establish human life are metabolism, growth, reaction to stimuli, and reproduction. A zygote meets all 4 criteria of human life, which dispels the argument that an abortion is just a woman and her body. It's easier to support the destruction of life when that life isn't able to fight back and defend itself. Those who support abortion argue that the embryo is just a mass of cells. If an embryo was only a mass of cells, it would only perform cellular activity. Because an embryo is a separate entity entirely, its cells will continue to grow and mature into a human being and continue to do so through adolescence and adulthood and eventually to death. To give an idea of just how many lives are being taken each year, I'll refer to the Students for Life. The Alan Guttmacher Institute tells us that 1.1 million abortions are being performed annually just in the United States. The abortion rate for the United States is one of the highest among developed countries. When you realize that nearly 1 in 4 pregnancies end in abortion, it really opens your eyes. What's worse is that 50% of women who are now seeking abortion have had at least 1 previous abortion. Under certain circumstances, such as rape or the pregnancy leading to fatal complications for the baby, an abortion may be easier to justify. But when a woman is choosing to not take preventative measures for pregnancy just because she knows she can have an abortion to kill the life inside of her, it's disgusting. During my research, I found a story of a woman who had a total of 4 abortions. She had her first abortion because she didn't want the father's DNA because he was short and ugly. This woman continued to carelessly sleep with men and wound up pregnant by men she didn't know, which led to 2 more abortions. The woman who gave this testimony experienced at least 3 of the risks of abortion. These included eating disorders, depression, and drug and alcohol abuse. Abortion should be illegal to protect both the baby and the woman having the baby. Many women who become pregnant are able to carry the baby to full term, they just choose not to. If they would, they could choose to give the baby up for adoption and help a family who's not able to have a baby. When considering abortion, a woman needs to consider how it will affect her today as well as in the future. There are many different methods for abortion, and they're all inhumane. When an abortion is performed, the vacuum aspiration method is the most common. The vacuum aspiration method, or the suction method, is when the uterus is dilated and the pregnancy and contents are sucked out of the uterus through a narrow tube. But it's not really as simple as it sounds. The tube is able to suck the fluid out from around the baby, and then the baby itself is torn apart by the suction and sucked into a jar, then reassembled to ensure that the process is complete. The methods of abortion become very gruesome, such as tearing the baby's limbs from its body and crushing the baby's skull so that it may be suctioned out of the uterus. Birthmothers.org describes the saline injection method as removing the amniotic fluid surrounding the baby and replacing it with a saline solution. The saline solution causes the baby to suffocate and it burns the outermost layer of the baby's skin. An even more cruel method is the hysterotomy. During a hysterotomy, a cesarean section is performed, except when the baby is delivered, it's not given any medical attention to help it survive. Most often, a wet towel is placed over the baby's face so that it may not breathe, and in some cases, the baby is placed in a bucket of water to ensure that it doesn't survive. Lastly, the extraction method is when an abortionist uses forceps to pull the baby's feet out up until its head, then an incision is made at the base of the baby's skull, and its brains are suctioned out so that the head will collapse, and then the body can be fully extracted. After hearing all of these facts and discovering how abortions are really performed, I hope that you can agree with me that abortion should never be an option. There are many resources to help a woman find a way to put her baby up for adoption, and in my research, I found Family Connections Christian Adoption Service, which is an organization that lets you review pre-approved adopted families, or a person can make an adoption plan with someone that they already know, or a family they already know. Golden Cradle Adoption Services is another organization that will offer help and support in the decision for adoption. This source will help with housing during pregnancy, as well as medical care and transportation. Knowing that there's other options besides abortion makes it seem even crueler. Knowing the way abortions are performed and how many women are carelessly having abortions is shocking and sickening at the same time. Please join me in the choice for pro-life and protecting these children who are unable to speak up for themselves. No one deserves to have their life taken away from them when it's not their own decision, and no one has the right to take another human being's life.